Today's guest is a boudoir photographer. She has a history of working with people. She is a registered nurse. She has a long history of serving others in different capacities. She pivoted to boudoir photography, and we will talk all about what boudoir actually means and any myths that you might have regarding that. She does headshots, she does branding photos. And one thing that I took away from this conversation was this is a person who really wants to lift up others and make people feel loved. I got a little teary-eyed during the interview. It was one of the first times that's happened. It's embarrassing. We're going to hear from Jessica Mattingly, talk about her business, lipstick and lace photography, and maybe feel a little inspired to take that leap. Sometimes doing something different, something out of your comfort zone, is a little scary. You feel nervous to try it. You don't know what it's going to be like. You don't know if you're going to feel uncomfortable. And to that, I will always say, do the uncomfortable thing. And Jessica is going to guide you through it. So I can't wait for you to hear our conversation. It's a good one. It's juicy. There's some laughing. There's some crying. So stay tuned to hear from Jessica Mattingly with Lipstick and Lace Photography. Lipstick and Lace Photography. Jessica Mattingly really showing up for, I'm going to say for the ladies, but I wanted to make sure I don't forget to ask, do you have a lot of men that come your way, or is it like, this is a ladies show?
It is primarily a ladies' show. I am not opposed, not averse to shooting men as well. In fact, I would like to get more men
Yeah.
into the studio and to normalize that.
Yeah.
Because they also have a lot of the same insecurities and feelings that we have, and they are also very deserving of
Right.
feeling handsome and, dare I say, beautiful and
Yeah.
desirable. And I will
100%.
tell you also, my best friend just recently was on a dating site.
Mm-hmm.
So she and I would get on Zoom because she is in Pennsylvania. So we would
Yeah.
get on a Zoom and kind of go through these profiles, and oh my, they need some better images.
Yeah. Yeah. I,
Right.
I love that. That's so funny.
Hmm.
It's as a mom of two boys, I always struggle with how to tell them like your self-worth and your confidence, how you show up is just as important as a woman. Um, I always thought I was gonna have a bunch of girls and I would be able to show them how to be powerful and how to show up, and it just did not work out that way. So I
Right.
love that you said that because they are deserving, and taking care of yourself, whether you're a man or a woman, is still important. And so that's so special. So with what you do, you have to have some kind of journey, backstory yourself. And it could be short and sweet, but I have a feeling someone doesn't wake up looking as fabulous as you and say, I just want to do this thing. So I'm curious, how did you get to where you are now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So it was really a combination of a lot of events that kind of, when people say like the stars aligned. So it
Mhm.
was a combination of a lot of events. So I have been a nurse. I'm also a practicing nurse practitioner
Okay.
for 26 years. So my healthcare journey, healthcare is really all I have ever known,
Yeah,
which has been very helpful to. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Quite the shock, as you can imagine.
of course.
Um, I had to have a mastectomy. I had a bilateral mastectomy. I failed reconstruction. So between the point where I had the mastectomy and I was considered a failure on reconstruction, there were like 5 surgeries in between.
Yeah.
So that left me with some really horrible scarring. Okay, fine. And then the next thing you know, I had, because I carry the BRCA1 gene, my GYN highly recommended a full hysterectomy. So the next thing, a few months later, I had the full hysterectomy, which threw me right into menopause and all the fun things that come with that.
Yes, my word.
The hair loss, the weight gain, the dry
Yep.
skin, the fatigues, just feeling horrible. And so I kind of felt like little by little, they were chopping away at all the things that I
Yeah.
considered my inner femininity,
Right.
what I most identified with. So as that is going on, I also was no stranger to a camera. During my long healthcare career, I'd spent a few years doing living forensics. So I was taking images of not so happy things.
Right.
And then I'm doing flowers and landscapes and uh but but the more I dove into this feeling that I was having, I recognized there are women all around me who are feeling very similar to me
Yeah.
for whatever reason. They have post childbirth stretch marks, weight gain. Their spouses are not telling them how amazing and beautiful they are, all the reasons. And my daughter at that time was getting into her modeling career and I was doing headshots for her.
Love that.
So I found that, wow, I really do like taking
Yeah.
photos of people,
Mhm.
like happy people, not just people who have been
Right.
victims of crime and not just flowers and landscapes. So that kind of happened at the same time. And then COVID hit and I became very, I want to say, less happy with
Sure.
the healthcare system.
Yep.
Um, and so all of these things kind of converged. And I started reading about women who had boudoir photo sessions and
Mm.
how they had felt. And I thought, oh my gosh. And I see these women who don't see what I see.
Yeah.
And I want them to see what I see.
Yeah.
So I just dove in feet first and started.
Oh,
And so here I am 4 years later. That was in 2021 when I hung the shingle
yep.
and registered as an official business.
Wow.
After a couple of years of research and playing around and making sure it was something that I really wanted to do.
I love that. That's so powerful that you like had your own we'll say body journeys, and it looks different for everybody. I think a lot of women go through these things in life, whether it's having children, whether it's cancer, whether it's just gaining weight,
Mm,
whether it's getting older.
right.
Getting older is a natural part of life. Women and men sometimes need an outside view.
Mhm.
And I myself have had a journey where I lost a lot of weight and then didn't
Mhm.
know who I was. The after was almost as scary as the before because I didn't know how to wear clothes. I didn't know how to feel sexy again. And I'm fortunate. I know a lot of people don't have this. I have an A1 since day one, a ride or die at home that I mean, I can look like a swamp monster. He's like, "Babe, killing it, killing it." But people need to be lifted up by an outside source, and I love that you took something you went through and, kinda turned that around. It's, "Let me show you what I see." Especially because you're essentially a stranger when someone comes to you. Sometimes a stranger's compliment hits so different.
Oh, yeah.
A familiar one. Someone comes up to me and says, "Oh my gosh, I love that dress." My husband could have said the same thing 5 minutes before, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this dress?" Totally different. Love that. So, you decided after taking pictures of other things, that wasn't your jam. Brought it back to boudoir. So, can you tell me what boudoir means?
Sure. That's a really good question because I think there are a lot of misconceptions
Yeah,
about that. People sometimes just make a leap that it is naked photos.
right.
And that is really a gross oversimplification.
Of course.
And because they don't have to be naked at all.
Yeah.
Historically, boudoir, it was a bedroom.
Okay.
where women would get ready and, at a dressing table and maybe in their nightwear or whatnot. So that has been carried forward. The thing is that boudoir can take place anywhere. It doesn't have to be a bedroom. It doesn't have to be on a bed. It could be outdoors. It could be in your kitchen. It could be in your living room. And it doesn't have to be a state of undress. It's more about the feeling, the emoting that happens,
Yeah.
where you catch someone looking very beautiful and whether they're naked or clothed. I've had women come in who really just want to be in an oversized sweater and some knee
Yeah.
socks holding their cup of morning coffee. And
Right.
that is just as boudoir ish as the woman who is naked on the bed with just a sheet over her
Yeah.
because the feeling is the same. That is the baseline.
Right.
It's catching this person looking very beautiful, and relaxed and being very desirable and very much in their skin in the present.
Mhm. Oh, I love that. So sexy looks different for everybody,
Mhm.
feels different for everybody. Historically, people think, so I have to go get naked in front of a
Right.
stranger? No way, Jose. So it doesn't have to be that.
No.
Sometimes people can feel the most sexy just in their comfy clothes, and it's catching those candid moments of, beauty. Oh, I got little goosies here. I love that. And especially as someone that, you yourself or someone like me that's had journeys, I'm not gonna feel super attractive stripped down in front of somewhat of a stranger.
Right.
I'm not gonna feel comfortable. So
Right.
finding that comfort level is key. Oh, I love that. So tell me, are there some tips, tricks, or things you do to help that person find some sense of comfort when they're stripping down whatever way that looks, when they're with
Mhm.
you? How do you make people feel comfortable?
Sure. So, and I had said, I feel like my healthcare background
Mhm.
really is helpful with
Yeah,
this. Um,
some bedside manner.
Because I go in and I do things to people who are total strangers that are
Yeah,
extremely invasive.
yeah,
So, learning how to quickly find that common ground with them and establish some level of mutual trust
yeah,
is just kind of innately in who I am. One of the things that I do with my clients is I always encourage them for their full sessions. If they're coming in for like a full boudoir beauty experience, I like to bring them in 2 to 3 weeks before their
mhm,
day. And this serves multiple purposes. One, so they know how to get there and they're
yeah,
not scrambling the day of taking a wrong turn because I want them relaxed, right? So they know how to get there. They get to meet me in the flesh. See, I'm a real person.
yeah,
And we sit down and we just have a conversation.
yeah,
And we talk about like what their ideas are for your shoot day. What
mhm,
kinds of things do they want to incorporate? What have they seen that they really want to pull into their session? They also at that time get a chance to go into my client wardrobe room and just play and try on clothes and
ah,
and figure out if there's anything in that room that they want to incorporate into their session. They get to look around the studio and touch things and feel things so that the day of their session when they come in, they are not meeting a total stranger anymore.
mhm,
And I always tell them, after you leave here from our pre-session consultation, you may be in the shower tomorrow night and have this question pop up, and that is completely normal. And I
yeah,
want you to know that please reach out to me,
right,
email me, text me, call me, whatever. I am available to you. And this is a big experience, and I want to be with you every step of the way. So we do those things. So they're not meeting a complete stranger. And then
yeah,
while they are there, I'm like, what do you have a playlist?
yeah,
What is your favorite music? And then I am just kind of a goofy person anyhow.
yeah,
So I am breaking out in song. I am dancing around. I
love it.
usually fall once per
Love that. Same, just normal.
Right. I am just a very real, humble person here
Yeah,
with you, and
yeah,
we're just going to have this fun. And at any point, If anyone is uncomfortable or needs
Yeah.
to take a break, then we certainly do that. It's catered for them.
Mm,
Every session is extremely unique. And
mhm.
that's the way I want it to be by design.
There are so many commonalities of what you just said that almost every business owner can take away from that. So, the first one that's really stood out, working with someone, whether it is in a boudoir shoot or, my day job is I'm an accountant. So I am looking at people's finances, which can feel just as intimate as someone
Yes.
stripping down. Um,
Sure.
you said building trust is key. Having good bedside manner. I was not a nurse, but there are so many things I can learn from you as a nurse of how to make people feel comfortable. A business owner has a duty to build trust with someone they're working with. And today, people have such a yearning for authentic relationships. And you're saying, when I'm working with you, I'm just myself. I'm not putting on, I'm probably going to fall because I would have fallen if they were there or not. It is
Right.
just a day in the life of Jessica. And that's so special. And I think every business owner that listens to this can take that away. Just show up as yourself, build trust, allow the person to tell you what they need, not what you think they need. And that
Correct.
is key. I love that. I love that so much. I am curious, what are some of the things that people tell you when they come to you that they want to do with these pictures? Because sometimes I think, like, okay, first off, it would be so fun to go to your studio and just play dress up. I mean, probably been 30 years since I've done that. To just play dress up, it sounds awesome. We take the pictures, we hang out together, also awesome. But then what do I do with those pictures? What are some
Hmm.
things, goals that people have?
Hmm. Yes. And, I feel like those reasons are just as unique and varied as my clients.
Yeah.
So sometimes people are coming in not so much for the end product for the pictures. Sometimes they are coming in for the experience,
Okay.
um, as a way of self care,
Yeah.
as a way of self love, maybe to celebrate something. The divorce is final.
Yeah.
I've met a health goal. I'm turning 50. And it's more or less the celebratory experience. And then the pictures at the end are just a great bonus.
Yeah.
Now, and sometimes, like for example, I have brides come in quite a bit and they want to do a bridal boudoir session
Mhm.
because they struggle with finding the perfect gift for their spouse.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm like, oh, the perfect gift does exist.
Yeah.
And so they'll create this album, this beautiful luxury album
Yeah.
to give to their spouse the night before or the night of the wedding. Sometimes they want to come in and create a beautiful piece of wall art.
Mm. Okay.
Yes. And I am such a big fan of that. I'm like, can we please normalize having art in our homes that we
Uh,
have created
yeah.
or that is of us?
Yeah.
Why should I have, art of other people
Right.
when my body is beautiful and my face is beautiful? And it's okay for me to say that.
Yeah.
So sometimes they want the wall art. Sometimes it's a gift. Sometimes it's just the memento of this experience that they had. I do obviously have folks come in for headshots. So sometimes, or for branding. So
Yeah.
sometimes it is for very practical reasons. They
Yeah.
want to update their social medias. Other times, I had someone say to me, I want more of a legacy photo. I want to make sure that
That's a
my
big ask.
children, after they find my boudoir photos, after I
Traumatize them, they can't unsee it.
that they also have this lovely picture of their mom because
Oh,
I don't want an ugly picture at my funeral.
love
I was like,
that.
that is so smart, so smart.
Yeah.
So it's really, like I said,
Yeah,
the
different.
reasons are as varied as my clients, what brings them there.
Yeah,
And that's why I'd like really to have that pre-session
yeah,
consultation. Like, tell me what you're thinking.
right.
And let's go down creating that. And sometimes they really want to do like like a truly dress up. They want to do cosplay, or they have these themes that they want to incorporate.
Okay,
And then yeah, let's do that.
let's do it. So I know what cosplay is
Hmm.
for reasons we won't talk about on here. So for the person that might not, what is cosplay?
Well, and again, everyone I think defines that a little bit differently.
Yeah,
Sometimes there is a very
fantasy.
intimate,
And so yeah,
sometimes there's a very intimate undertone to it.
sure.
Other times it is just truly dressing up in a character that you resonate with,
Okay, sure.
that are parts of your personality that you want to take on, and it doesn't really necessarily even have to look like you in the everyday. You can just alter personality. My clients, I'm just always so amazed, like the ideas that they come to me with,
Yeah,
and it is so much fun.
yeah.
And I always tell them, bring
Mhm.
props. Bring things that are important to you, based on what it is that what we're going for here. I've had clients bring their crystals. I have had clients bring their cat. I've had clients bring their husband or boyfriend's football jersey.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I've had
Yeah,
clients bring their whole car.
it's a small prop.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
so
why
fun.
not? Yeah.
Fun.
So, you know,
It differs.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. I mean,
Very
what lights
unique.
you up? Let's do it.
Yeah, that's okay. I love that. And it sounds like you are open to, it doesn't have to just be let's make a intimate sex pot situation. Maybe it's for your business. Maybe
Right.
you want people to see who you are, these days. I mean, social media, your website is how people feel like they get to know you. I'll never forget the first business card that I had made years ago when I started my business. I thought, well, I have to have like a blazer,
Right.
because that screams this girl is serious. I have to have what I would call glamour shot
Hmm.
type makeup because then they think she takes care of herself. And I looked
Hmm.
so much different than how I show up every day. But at the time, I thought, well, they'll take me seriously. When I look back, I think people meet me and they feel like gotten catfished because that's not me at all. So I love that you're saying show up as you are. Let people, if it's branding, if it's headshots, everyone's a little different and that's
Hmm.
okay. So obviously we need to talk because I still have the blazer photo. And as you can see, I don't show up in a blazer ever. That was
Right.
corporate days. So I love that. So the end result can be just as important or not important at all as the experience. And that
True.
is so special. People will have a session beforehand to get to know each other. What if someone comes to you and they're not creative? If they are,
Yeah.
hypothetically, let's say an accountant came to you,
Hmm.
hypothetical, and she said, "I'm not creative, but here are the things I like."
Hmm.
Is that too far-fetched, or is it, "No, we'll figure it out as we go"?
Yeah, true.
Okay.
And that does happen a lot.
Does it? Okay.
It does. It
Not that I
does.
know any accountants, you know
That
you know?
does happen. And so then, I start out all my clients, of course, some point have to get to me
Yeah,
and we have to become aware of each other.
yeah,
So usually our first interaction is a phone call or a Zoom.
yeah,
I let that be their decision. Some people don't like to Zoom. Some people, yes, want to see my face and know that I'm a real person.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
happy to do either one.
Mm,
And that's where we start thinking about these things. And if they're like, I've always wanted to do this, but I really have no idea even where to start. So then I direct them, go to my website, go to my Facebook group, see if there are images there that resonate with you and why.
mm,
Is it the lighting? Is it the posing? Is it the colors that are used? Is it the clothing? And then let's even talk about Pinterest. And you and I can make a Pinterest board.
mm.
Scroll, find things that really speak to you.
Yeah,
Not that we necessarily have to replicate those things, because each of those things can speak to you for a different reason.
sure.
and we want to still put your stamp on it.
Right.
We use those things kind of as a baseline. And then the day of, sometimes they can go off track if they want,
Right.
or they'll go, I've decided I would like a couple that are topless. Okay, let's do it, you
Yes,
know?
girl.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah. So it's completely okay. Just like I have a number of clients that come in and they talk to my makeup artist and they're like, I don't have any idea.
Yeah.
And my makeup artist is both of the ones that I primarily work with. They're just gems of a human. And they're like, ooh, looking at your eye color, looking, at your facial tones, da da
Yeah.
da da. I have an idea.
Guiding.
Yeah.
That's nice. So you work with artists to
Hmm.
help people. One thing that has kept me and a lot of my team, in my accounting firm, they're all women and they're all moms, seasoned and new moms. And they tell me, I invite them to these events that our
Hmm.
clients have. And the first thing they say is, I don't know how to show up. I don't wear makeup ever. I don't have nice clothes. And that can stop people from taking that step forward, whether it's a photo shoot or going to an event. So you're saying you work with a guide of
Hmm.
sorts, beauty
Yes.
guides that can help them feel, put together.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. My client wardrobe room has more than lingerie.
Mm,
I have business clothes. I have, stuff that would be more appropriate, like for branding or for
yeah.
headshots.
Okay.
So, a lot of my clients use these experiences as a really good excuse to go shopping,
Hell, just give me a
which,
small excuse. I'm there.
right, I think is great. And then they come in knowing that what they've brought fits, how it fits,
Yeah.
those kinds of things. But I also, like I said, open up my wardrobe room to them as well. And sometimes after they're there and they're really comfortable, we'll say, I saw something in that room a few weeks ago.
Oh,
I think I want to try that.
yeah.
Yeah, great.
Oh,
Let's
I
do
love
it.
that. They got a little more comfortable with
Hmm.
you, with the process, and they said, I want to try something different.
Hmm.
Oh, I love that because that's always a fear, I think, when you're trying something completely new
Right.
and you think, well, I've never done this, so I'm not going to know how to do it. But that
Right.
doesn't matter because you have
No.
you, but also a team that's going to help you get there. So
Yes.
they can get their makeup done when they go there for the day
Yeah.
up. Okay.
Yes. They get professional hair and makeup, and that also includes lashes if they want lashes. Because
Fun.
a lot of my clients have never worn false lashes.
Yeah.
What we have found is they show up beautifully in photos.
Yes.
Um, so yes, they get pampered and loved on by my makeup artists
Love it.
and then shoot with me usually from 2 to 3 hours or until we just both collapse with exhaustion.
Love it. Yes.
And
Okay.
I don't expect anyone to come in knowing what to do. I
Yeah.
don't expect anyone to come in and know how to pose. That's my
Yeah.
job, So
Okay.
I'm going to pose you.
Yeah.
You love your breasts. That's your favorite part. We are going to do stuff that really emphasizes
Yep.
that part of your body. You don't like your tummy, your midsection. Fine. I'm going to pose you in ways where that is not the focus
Yeah.
of the center of attention in this image.
Okay. Yes. Love that.
So we can emphasize, de-emphasize with
Mhm.
posing, with lighting, with the clothing,
Yep.
so that we're still being authentic to you
Right.
in your present skin. It's just
Okay.
really a matter of posing and lighting.
Yeah. And you're gonna be that person to help
Yes.
because there's all kinds of stuff on social media. Pose this way if you want to do this, and pose that way. But you never feel like, does it look good? I don't know. Like we used to do the duck lips, and I thought
Right.
that was good, but here we are, and we're being told that was not good. So we're evolving. So I love that you're saying you don't have to know what you're doing. Like you're not the photographer, and you're probably not a model. So okay, we can show up as we are, and that's so special. And obviously, I'm taking mental notes so I can immediately reach out after. Um, and as anyone that's watching this that maybe needs a pick me up, needs something
Yes.
to feel alive again in a world where you're doom scrolling and maybe seeing
Yes,
all of the best sides of people and feel like, "Oh, like, I need something to feel, beautiful again." So you said you had a Facebook group.
I do. I
What
do.
happens in this Facebook group?
So the VIP Facebook group is all
Mhm.
women. No men are allowed in there,
Love it already.
because I I want it to be a safe space where we can talk about things openly.
Mhm.
We can vent. We can ask questions. I mean, like, I had someone ask a question the other day about, "Hey, I need my bathroom redone. Anyone have a contractor that they trust?"
Mhm.
Great. Anyone have a dermatologist they really like?
Yeah.
Anybody experiencing vaginal dryness? I mean,
Yeah.
it's a safe space.
Oh, okay.
And
Mhm.
then we post funny memes, inspirational stories. I encourage a lot of selfies because again, I want to normalize this.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
show up. There's nothing worse than the mom or the wife who has pictures of everyone else and never of her or
Just
her
mom.
without the kid,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, I think, like, these
Oh.
Velcro beings all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So I encourage that a lot. And it's also a safe space where clients who want to share their photos
Yeah.
can do so.
Mm.
That is one of the things that I really strongly believe in. I have a lot of clients who are like locked down. I will deny that I've ever even talked to you. Your photos will never see the
Sure.
light of day outside of your hands,
Yeah.
right? And then I have clients that are like, "Oh, hell yeah, I want the world to see this."
Mm.
So,
Okay.
it's
Eh,
also a safe
right.
place to share those. So, yeah, it's just kind of a fun group. And, if I have like events coming up
Yeah.
or that sort of thing or a
Yeah.
special sale, then, I do promote that in there as
Okay.
well.
So that's a place to be if
It
you
is.
are maybe you've been someone like me that's been fangirling and watching what you're doing and feels like, I don't know if I want to get started. I'm nervous. The group would be a great place to get a little more insight.
It is. That's
Okay.
a great place. Also, my email list is
Oh,
a really great place because
yeah.
if there is a sale or promotion, my email list, those folks get it first.
Okay. Okay.
Um, Especially like a flash sale or something, they
Yeah.
get first dibs. But my
Okay.
email list is more than me just in your inbox saying,
Yeah.
"I have a sale. Buy, buy, buy."
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. I try to make it informative. So I've sent out recipes. Here's my favorite new recipe. I've sent out tips and tricks how to take better pictures of your kids. How, are
Okay.
you looking for a camera? Here are some things to consider.
Yeah.
So I try to make it informative and educational and, just good information
Mm.
so that it has some value
Okay.
for folks.
So you're changing the email list game. Just want to highlight that because, when you're a small business owner and you're just hoping and wishing that whatever marketing you're putting out there is working, everyone always says, have an email list. And the first thing they say is sell to your email list. And you're going against that. And you're like, sometimes, but
Right.
let's build
Sometimes.
some relationship first.
Right.
That's so
I'm not
good.
going to ask you to marry me without going out on a date
Yes.
first, right?
Yes. Court
So
me
it's a
first.
really, really good way for people to get to know me. And,
Okay.
and some of them are just quirky, like, well, here's a picture of my cat. I mean,
Well, I love it. Yeah. Show me that cute cat any day.
yeah.
That's fun. So I'm guessing, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, if people want to sign up for this email list
Mhm,
of fun,
mhm.
they can go to your website.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And what is your website?
Lipstickandlacephotography.com. And the and is spelled out.
That
So
was it.
yes, it's a
That's fantastic.
long, it's a
That's okay.
long
Yes.
lipstick and lace
Lipstick.
photography.
Okay. Lipstick
Yes.
and lace photography. I totally get it. I have a very long business name, but does not take away from the importance. We're spelling out the
Yes.
and you can hop on the fun email list there.
Yeah.
If someone wants to join your Facebook group, what's the name of your Facebook group?
Sure. It is Lipstick and Lace Ladies Lounge.
Little alliteration at the end, and I love that. Okay, and this is a girls only club.
That is the girls only club. Now, my Instagram, lipstick and lace photography, of course, is public.
Okay.
So anyone can go there.
Yeah.
And then my Facebook business page, which is just, lipstick and lace photography, the business page,
Okay.
anyone can go there as well. When you go to the Facebook, the all women's group, the Ladies Lounge, there is also a spot there where you can opt in for emails.
Oh, beautiful.
Um,
Okay.
but, I always love getting them in through the website because
Yeah.
as most business owners, I'd like to think that they've been to the website and
Yeah.
appreciated all this hard work I've put into it.
Which
They've
it is a
read those
lot of
blogs.
yes, it is a lot of work. Let's bring some appreciation to sometimes a website is not one landing page with a bunch of links. It is a whole house.
Yes, and it's
Yes.
ever evolving.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
and there are blogs on there. Again, I want the website to, kind of mirror my whole philosophy that it's educational,
Yep.
fun, informative, but it's always welcome people to reach out to me. Some people are because I think like my clients, their age range really runs the gamut, right?
Sure.
So sometimes I have young brides doing bridal boudoir who are in their mid, late 20s,
Yeah.
up to clients that are in their 70s.
Um,
So
How do you
I
speak to that?
know,
Yeah.
right. I know that some clients, like my younger folks, typically they don't want to call me. They want to text.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
want to text. Fine. And sometimes my older clients are way more comfortable with a phone call.
Yeah.
And they would rather not communicate via a DM.
Yeah. Ew.
Perfectly fine too, so I try to meet people where they're at.
Mm,
And that's part of, just my philosophy of establishing that trust and that I really am here for you because, my motto has always been that all bodies are good bodies and all love is good love. So
mm,
I really strive to be very inclusive,
yeah.
um, you know, irrespective of
Yeah.
your body size, shape, what you've been told your whole life,
Yeah.
which is probably bullshit.
Yeah. 100%.
Um, or that who you love is wrong.
Yeah.
Because I also do couples photos. So yeah,
Yeah. You've seen it, done it, bought that
bring
t-shirt.
in,
Yeah.
bring in the people that you love.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or your
Couples
couch.
boudoir is amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's so fun, and that's such a good message to, end with is you're meeting people where they are, as I cannot think of one business that should not have a motto similar to that. Your business is not about you, it's about the people you serve, and that's so special. You can talk to Jessica, and she will meet you where you are, and that is so clear with just the amount of communication that you are willing to do with such a large age range of people. So that's so special. And check out lipstickandlacephotography.com. Look at that hard work that's gone into that website because I have done that. And it is a beautiful website.
Thank you.
I could tell some blood, sweat, and tears went in there. So check Jessica out. Jessica, if you have any events coming up, we will put it in the show notes. We will lift
Sure.
you up as much as we can. I hope that someone got a nugget out of this. I know I did. I got a little teary eyed, but I just blinked it away because I have fake lashes on and we can't be crying because they get weird. So yes, there's some really good things to take away from this. So Jessica, thank you so much for coming
Thank
today.
you.
And I hope that you are just showered with people that want to share their experiences with you. So,
Thank you. Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you.
If I could do it all over again, there'd be no wish I would, should have been. Spend more time with my family and friends. If I could do it all